right? Because the dog is reacting. And there's only two ways the dog can bite: if he doesn't trust you or if he doesn't respect you,
Mm-hmm.
right? So then that way you can start decoding and seeing why it happened. It's a reason why it happened is it's never because the dog was planning to hurt you. We have seen in our lives like dogs with neurological problems, and there's nothing we can do, right?
Right.
But it's not a lot. You have seen more dogs with psychological problems,
Yes.
and that's what we rehabilitate
Mm-hmm.
dogs. But we don't know what kind of dog bit this person,
Mm-hmm.
right? But let's say we remove neurological problem out of the
Mm-hmm.
question, and the dog just didn't 100% trust and 100% respect, because that's the only reason why a dog will bite, right? A dog doesn't trust, that means he's afraid of you. A
Yes.
dog doesn't respect you, that means he doesn't trust your leadership,
Yep.
right? So it's never because the dog loves you so much they will do it, right? So it's never that. It's never because the dog, loves. It's just because the dog doesn't understand the position in the pack, and then the relationship that you have. Therefore, he will break loyalty,
Mm-hmm.
and he will not care about your leadership.
Mm-hmm.
Life is definitely simple. We make it complicated. So my goal in life right now is to make sure that I share my wisdom to the next generation. All right, so welcome to another podcast of a Q&A, Andre and I. Again, Andre's gonna give me the questions that you guys ask. My way of answering is always going to be based on energy, based on the philosophy that we want to practice or we need to practice, and then the actions we need to take. So energy, philosophy, actions. In order for you guys to begin to understand and to begin to decode, so you learn to listen to your dog based on the energy, the philosophy, and the actions, right? So I'm just going to break it down. Ultimately, you guys are going to do it by understanding and then getting in tune to the energy that is required to have a connection with the spirit of a dog, with the instincts of a dog, with the heart of a dog, and then create a new way of living, right? So because we want to, if you were going to ask me questions about a dog that is aggressive or that is fearful, or that it has anxiety, or the dog doesn't listen to, that means that dog in the past has behaved that way, and you don't want the dog to continue in the future to do it. But to rehabilitate the past and to really plan for the future, we have to learn to stay focused in the moment. Right, so even for prevention purpose, that means the dog has no issues. But most of the people that come to me is people that come with a dog that already has a post-traumatic stress or some kind of trauma, right? And that trauma comes across as aggression, fear, or the dog doesn't listen to me. But the reason why the dog doesn't listen to the human, or is not happy, is not healthy, is not loving, is not creating new memories, is because the energy that we're providing, the philosophy that we're providing, and the activities that we're providing, sometimes we don't do one right, and then it ruins all of them, or we just do all of them wrong. And then, of course, the outcome is fight, flight, avoidance. Okay? So Andrew's going to ask me questions. We're going to continue us answering questions in English and Spanish until the whole world understands natural, simple, profound. Okay.
All right, let's get into it. Okay, Pa. So the first question we have here today, since we're starting off with English, how do I get over my fear of dogs after being bit by my own dog?
Wow. That is a great question, right? Because the person have to learn to clean their energy, and the first like where we go is to our mind, right? Because the mind is the one that holds the memory, right? But also we have to take in consideration, how does my heart feels about it? Do I feel betrayed? Do I feel confused? So you have to ask a conversation to your heart, and then you got to go into your instincts, and then your instincts, hey, how do I feel about dogs? Do I feel fight, flight, avoidance? So because you are an animal, and you have an instinctual way of dealing with life, and so you have to have an individual conversation. It is not your mind. Your mind just holds the past, right? The traumatic experience. And then you have to go and talk to your spirit. And then your spirit is, how do I feel about my dog not being loyal, right? Because it's about
Yes.
the spirit is about loyalty, and instinct is about leadership, and then your heart is about love. So you have to go and see how you feel about that, and then you can go, okay, so since I'm in charge of the life of my dog, what did I did wrong, right? Because the dog is reacting, and there's only two ways the dog can bite: if he doesn't trust you or if he doesn't respect you, right? So and then that way you can start decoding and seeing why it happened. It's a reason why it happened is never because the dog was planning to hurt you. We have seen in our lives like dogs with neurological problems, and there's nothing we can do, right?
Okay.
But it's not a lot. You have seen more dogs with psychological problems.
Yes.
And that's what we rehabilitate dogs. But we don't know what kind of dog bit this person, right? But let's say we remove neurological problem out of the question, and the dog just didn't 100% trust and 100% respect, because that's the only reason why a dog will bite, right? A dog doesn't trust, that means he's afraid of you. A dog doesn't respect you, that means he doesn't trust your leadership.
Yep.
Right? So it's never because the dog loves you so much they will do it, right? So it's never that. It's never because the dog, loves. It's just because the dog doesn't understand the position in the pack, and then the relationship that you have. Therefore, he will break loyalty, and he will not care about your leadership, right? So we need to understand that part. We need to us see where we are hurt the most, and then how that can lead us to how we taught our dogs to not trust us or respect us, even though that's never what people want to do, right? Nobody wants to trigger no trust, no respect, right? Dog lovers go with the whole intention of being in love with each other and having this incredible fantasy, but that's just emotional intelligence, right? So that happens after trust, respect, and so that's how I think people can begin to repair feeling betrayed or whatever the feeling is, right? Because I get bitten all the time. Even when you get hurt, the first thing I tell you is not the dog. Just calm down, relax, finish it, follow through, wait until the dog is calm, surrender, you finish calm, confident. Then you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, of course.
Right? So you have had the supervision. If you get hurt by a dog, you immediately have to know why.
Yeah.
Right? And then you say, I did that mistake. And you have learned not to blame the dog. And you have learned to rewind what you did wrong. Right? So that way our energy is always 100%. Our philosophy is always 100%. And then our actions are 100%. Right? So that's our commitment. That's how we live in honesty, integrity, loyalty. And that's how we always take full responsibility. And so that thing, I think, by having that perspective and that way of cleaning your energy and your thoughts, it would automatically make you have a much better actions, right? Energy, philosophy, actions.
I will add to that by saying it is very true how you've put it, where if the dog doesn't trust you, he'll bite you, right? And if the dog doesn't respect you, it's because he doesn't trust your leadership. And that's very true, especially since growing up, as time passed, the amount of chances that we get bit is less because the preparations were so much well prepared for.
Right.
And so of course, we'll still get bit or whatever, but it's not as it was back then. And that's because of how we go into it, knowing that we can't blame the dog,
Right.
because you have to take accountability.
Right.
What were the steps taken to get to this point? And I think it's really good for people to know that in order to overcome fear, you also have to address it, right? You also have to address it. And by addressing it and taking your time and taking all the right steps, it helps understand a lot better of why things are being taken down this road. And then you can actually self-reflect a lot better, I believe.
Also, in order for a dog to bite or an animal to hurt you, you have to be really close.
Yeah.
So that means your assessment and evaluation from a public zone, that means you're not using it, right? Because you're coming from public, social, personal, intimate. And so if you're not reading that, and then you're falling into a cliff, right? Because you are unconsciously walking into it. You're not reading, and that's just the same thing as when people are saying you're not consciously living.
Yeah.
And with animals, you have to be consciously of every single second.
Every
You
second.
know, every single second. You have to know like what you are in front of. So if you want to be in front of a buffalo, you need to know when the buffalo is about to charge before the buffalo charges.
Of course.
Right? And or a bull or a camel or anything you need to be in silence, and you need to have this in connection in silence in order for you to know when the animal instinct is about to come in.
A certain movement.
And so the animal, when you bother their silence, they can go into fight, flight, avoidance. But when you nurture their silence, they can go into calm surrender. Right? And then if they do many calm surrender to you, then the animal was going to say, hey, you make me feel happy as well, not only trust, respect. And then you create a friendship. Right? So that is the part that the dog people need to understand, because they don't walk with silence. They walk with excitement. Right? And everybody knows that in order to be with a very exotic animal, you need to control your
impulses.
Everything. The way you breathe, the way your heart rate, the way your blood goes through it, the way you sweat. If you're not in control of your instincts, the lion will know that you are afraid in front of him too close, and he will just go.
Even if you're like feeling it inside, but you don't feel it here, you're thinking, I'm so excited, or I'm unsure. Even just that switch.
That's pretty loud for them.
It's extremely. It's like a megaphone.
But the more wild, the more sensitive.
Of course.
Right? And the back of the pack dogs also, we don't know. Also, the person who asked, what's his name?
The name was Claudiac 2678.
Well, Claudia, right? So Claudia, we don't know if she's dealing with a middle back as well, right? So the energy is one thing, then position of the pack, you need to understand. So there's few things that this bite can teach you, right? And so once you actually learn all the awesome stuff that a bite teaches you, and then knowledge rises. And then once the knowledge rises, and then fear goes down, right? Because in order for Lewis Hamilton to be an incredible driver, few accidents happen, even when he was doing go-karts. Right? So everything counts, because he becomes more sensitive to be in control, more sensitive to be quiet and calm, confident, right? And listen to the people. And he's playing with his own life. But when you're in front of an animal, you're playing with your own life, but with an animal. Right? So it's instinctual. It's about life and death. And that's why we need to understand that, yes, it's painful, but it's a lot of lessons. I became really good because I made mistakes.
All right. Second question.
Yeah.
This is from Evan Nello. My dog is afraid to get in the car to go to her yearly vet visits. Can you advise me of any ways to overcome her fear?
Say it again.
Okay. My dog is afraid to go into the car to go to her yearly vet visits. Can you advise me of any ways to overcome her fear?
Well, if it's already association in the car, and then that means we have to help a dog jumping up. We're in the obstacle course area right now. We're in the agility course, and so agility can make an association of jumping to things first. And what's the owner's name?
Evan.
And Evan can start making the jump association or the movement of jumping with happy-go-lucky, right? So in this case, we don't want a dog to become surrender. We want a dog to learn to be happy-go-lucky, jumping on something, right? Because the association of jumping to the car, it has created confusion, and that confusion goes into the trust, right? It goes into a dog being sad or being betrayed. In this case, the dog can actually feel betrayed by the human because the human didn't took the time to make the pup's positive association to the car. We have a dog, Luna. Luna was Marco Antonio Regil's dog, and she became terrified of the car. And so one of the things we have to do is help her get in the car, right? Because she will run away from the car, and then she have to go through the process of like shaking in the car, and so we make many repetitions. We did trips to the beach. We went to trips to different places. So she makes the association of that. So now, not necessarily you take the dog into the car and then go straight to the vet.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Because that would happen to you too. I take you to the car and take you to the doctor, and your
only
association.
Going to the car.
That's right.
Doctor, right.
So the associations that we do for our dogs have to be, especially when the dog has already become so sensitive and so distrusting to the car, to the point that a dog can become, depressed and or start shaking in inches, and that the more the dog makes those movements, and eventually it's not just attached to the car, but it becomes attached to the human.
Yep.
And then you don't want that. So the point is. More agility, learn to do agility, learn to be fun. Or if, you don't want to do agility, fast the dog one day and then begin to feed him in the car.
I was going to say that. I remember that the situations or the times that we've had to re-imprint what the car represents. You've always, you get him to jump, you wait, then you can take him off. So he understands that it's not like a thing that we go and then we instantly just take off.
That's right.
And so that also helps feeding them. You would feed them in the car. You go, hey, you start clapping, you start dancing, you play music, and you bring other dogs to the car, and to at least encourage that type of excitement or that type of association. Whereas, we're going to the car, my friends are here, so that must mean something different. And I've seen you do that, and it's not as hard as it sounds. It's just very consistent that you need to be by going over and over and over
until you finish,
until it's done, and then you can then apply going to the vet because the association has disconnected. I only go to the vet every time I jump in the car.
So it's a painful thing, right? So when a dog goes into the car, how does people know is the right association, right? How do they know the dog is thinking the right thing? Because they don't think, but let's put it into those terms, right? What is a good state of mind that a dog travels in the car? Number one, calm surrender.
Calm surrender, 1-on-1.
Number two, happy-go-lucky, right? Because he's happy-go-lucky, he's at the window.
Oh, yeah.
Number three is because he's protecting the car. So it's calm, confident, like Dante, right? So, right?
Like Dante.
Dante. You can't get in the car with Dante.
Yeah.
That's it. You're done.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Dante is a German Shepherd that is here with us. Dante is what people call an alpha dog, right?
Yes.
So, and Dante was trained to be exactly that. He's a personal protection dog, and he learned everything that a police dog learned, right? Personal protection. But in order for Dante to do that, Dante has to be a pick of the litter, meaning he has to be an alpha dog,
Top of the top.
The top of the top. His brothers and sisters did not make it. He was from the litter. Dante is the alpha dog. He was chosen to be a Navy SEAL.
Yeah. Marine.
Yeah, but the rest of the dogs in the world, right? The dogs that are not Dantes, they can be happy-go-lucky to a certain level because you don't want a dog to just play in the car. It's dangerous, or a calm surrender, right? So if we aim for that state of mind, dogs will actually understand what we want from them in the car. Right. Now, never put a dog in a crate, which a car is a crate, when the dog has not having a good exercise or a good long walk, because the car is a crate. So you're about to put a dog in the car when it's full of physical energy, and being in the car is a mental thing or emotional. Okay.
All right. Next question from Miguel Yordas 6544. I am so grateful for your teachings. I have a 5-month-old Chow Chow, and she is very fearful of people outside of our home. How can I be a better leader for her?
Say it again.
I am so grateful for your teachings. I have a 5-month-old Chow Chow.
5 months?
5 months.
Okay.
She's very, very fearful of people outside of our home. Okay. How can I be a better leader for her?
Okay, so it sounds like a back of the pack dog,
yes,
right? So right fearful of things is a common characteristic. Is that a good word? Characteristic of a dog that doesn't know how to do it on his own. It feels like if you put somebody like Sophia, happy-go-lucky dog, to go on the walk, it would be a much better introduction to the human world, to the outside world,
Yes.
right? Because when you don't have the knowledge and your dog is hesitating right from the door and you're not addressing that, and then you're carrying all that hesitation into the public.
Yeah.
Right, because the little dog, the little chow chow is gonna like, here's the leash, but you're not making me feel comfortable here.
Yeah.
So if I'm not comfortable at home, and then you open the door, I'm more uncomfortable now.
Yeah.
Because I know the outside world is different scents, it's different sounds, it's different sights, and you don't seem to know how to help me. But if you bring a dog like Sophia, a happy-go-lucky dog, a balanced dog, and that dog actually will do a much better job than us. Even us. Even you know, I always tell Andre or Calvin or anybody that work around me, don't worry. If we have the dog, put it to that dog.
Yeah.
It's fast forward.
Yeah, faster.
It's a leash. It's a dog. It's a tool. We are a tool. The dog is a tool. The whole dog psychology center is a tool. The wind is a tool. Everything is a tool, right? So you have to pair things together so it feels effortless. It feels natural, simple, profound. Exactly. You feel like the wind and the flexibility of the water, right? So. And then once you have the behavior you want, it's solid, and then that's when you celebrate. That's when you bring the fire in a celebration way, right? So a back of the pack dog it's not because it's a chow. It has nothing to do with it. It is just the way the dog is experiencing the world. It tells us, that's a back of the pack dog, and it has nothing wrong with it. It's just that give us a perfect insight how to help them. It's a way more sensitive. If that little dog was a middle of the pack, it would be very, happy-go-lucky. It would say, "Oh my God, I never seen a chow so happy-go-lucky," right? Because chows have a reputation, right? But it's not the chow.
I have noticed too. Well, not noticed, but I have experienced personally one-on-one with you that you have told us if hey, you're not going to be the one that does it. It's because the dog does it better for us then. Yeah. And so I've come to understand and realize that sometimes we are interrupting the process as a human for them to overcome this fear or to overcome this obstacle that they're going through. Sophia definitely is one of my favorites just because of how happy-go-lucky she is. It eases our job a lot easier, so we can focus on, we just need to redirect where the brain, the nose is going. We need to redirect, the fixation of something. And so the dogs definitely have the power and ability, because obviously they're dogs and the same, but they have the ability to understand and how to address it like that, right? And
we do use a lot of animal help. It's not just in the form of a dog, but also we have a turkey now. We have some incredible chickens. They have the most incredible outfit I ever seen in my life. The most trusting ducks that we have ever had. We have some incredible tortoises. They are very in tune. When I brought Ricky and Brownie, they start circling. We have it on video. I have it on video, and start circling. And these dogs really needed to be put together, right? And the tortoises, in this magical way, they start going in circles, and then one almost like he grabbed the leash and started walking them both. When the humans were not able to do it. And the tortoises did it in that day. I never done it in my life, but that's we don't just use dogs, right? We use anything that can help a dog ground, connect, and then move on.
We even have a cow, and the cow does it as well too. Sometimes
she grooms them.
Yeah, she licks them, and it's from dogs that don't like, or was said that don't do well with other animals. They don't do well with their own, Ricky and Bronny. They don't get along.
We have to get Simba with the cow.
Oh, he would do.
I think she can help him. So our point is, if you can help, and then find somebody in the community, they have a middle of the pack dog, happy-go-lucky dog, and join them in the walk. And that's the easiest way. You will totally enjoy. You will learn dog psychology like nobody else can teach you that, right?
Agreed.
I can bring it to your attention, but the teachers of dog psychology is a dog, just like the teachers of whale psychology. You have to study whales. You have to go and like those people have to swim with them and watch them and hear them.
Okay, our next question, Bob, is from Luciana Coutinho from 4484. My dog, who is a female boxer, is afraid of traffic sounds, mostly motorcycles. And
Afraid, like she's like afraid, like running away, or afraid barking forward.
it says afraid as in fearful, moving away.
Did she said that?
No, but from what I can see in the question, that's what leads me to believe it. So
Okay.
let me finish the question.
Or if she thinks fear is when a dog is barking towards it, that's a completely different, right? Because you want to be able to evaluate the problem the way it is, or label the problem the way it is. No, because a lot of people say my dog is afraid, but then I go and say, no, your dog is being territorial.
Yeah.
Your dog is being
The body language is
excited. Your dog is being leading you. And so they think the dog is afraid. That's why the dog is going after the bikes.
Okay. But my dog, a female boxer who is afraid of traffic sounds, mostly motorcycles, and we live in a big city, Rio de Janeiro. We walk every day.
Obrigado.
Obrigado. We walk every day, but when a loud motorcycle crosses the street, she even shakes her big body, which is why I said earlier it's more fearful.
Okay. Well, it's nothing wrong putting headphones, or sometimes when a dog is extremely into the sight, right? We recommend goggles. We've done many goggles just to lower the intensity of what the dog has experienced. Just temporary, not forever, because all tools should be temporary. And so if the dog is uncomfortable by the sound, you still have to be in the environment, but it's okay for us to put some kind of headphones, something that can block the intensity. I would absolutely also put a backpack on that dog, so it focus on something, stronger, bigger, more like into the mind versus focusing on the environment. And so with the backpack on or anything, you don't have to pay for anything. Remember, if it's as a Latino, we can create a backpack. Okay, so it's not like I'm telling you to go buy a backpack. But if you can, buy a backpack. But if you don't, just use your creativity and put it on the dog, because it feels better. Right? It feels better when you make something that is going to help your dog, and it has that energy. It's all about the energy. And so when a dog is terrified and you let the dog carry something, it helps the mind to be utilized and focus on one thing, right? And at the same time, with the headphones, he's not going to worry about it. But at the same time, also it's vibration. So if it vibrates, now they feel it like elephants. So, so let's begin with the ears, and eventually the backpack should take care of it. Try not to go too slow. Actually, do a little faster. Long time ago, I did a Bishla that was extremely terrified of going in the streets. Terrified. That dog was shut down, like turning into a rock.
Yes.
And so it's nowhere in the world you can put a harness, you can put a collar, you can put a halter. It's nowhere in the world. You know where I put the leash? I put the leash in the tail. So I put the leash in the tail, and the tail went up. And as soon as the tail went up, the dog felt really, really proud of himself, right? And when the dog feel very proud of himself, he began to run. I'm running. I'm going on rollerblades in the middle of Long Beach, but the leash is in the tail of the dog.
So you have the tail lightly wrapped around the tail just to produce confidence in the dog?
That's right, because in the dog show, the leash goes up and the head goes up. Right. But because most people, they don't know how to hold the head high on a dog, then they pull too much on the neck.
Yes.
Right? And then the dog has to do this reaction, and then makes the association of leash on the neck something not to feel proud of.
Yeah.
Right? And so obviously this is just, your creativity, and the dog tells you, the dog talks. And so I put the leash on the tail, and I'm going on rollerblades in the middle of Long Beach. Same problem. The dog was afraid of everything, sound, buzzes, everything. But after that run, that dog felt the association of, if I can go running in the middle of the street, this hectic world, right? It's very hectic for a dog to be around motorcycles and
it's just very loud too. Sometimes they have motorcycles.
It's too much.
Really
it's too much.
Loud exhaust.
It's too much. It takes a long time for a horse in New York to feel comfortable to the chaos of New York. New York is not a animal friendly environment. It's not for animals, but they have to be there. But it's an association to it, so an animal can actually adapt, and it's good for them. It's good. It's just for dogs who are very sensitive. It takes a little longer, so you have to learn to do it in a way where they feel they're working. The reason why I'm suggesting the backpack is it's working. The reason why I did it on the bike is because it's a Bichla, and Bichla want to run,
take off,
right? So I know I always say it's a dog, but in that moment, that dog wanted to be a Bichla. There is times that you want to be a Brazilian. There is time that you have to be just a human being. There is time that you just want to be spirit, and you just go and sit and be quiet, and you're just a spirit, right? And so that dog that day wanted to be a Bichla, and the Bichla, what they do really good is run.
Yeah, that's the truth.
So I hope definitely the way I think about the answers and the way I think about how I actually do certain things, and I have helped dogs with the same problems, right? So how is this creativity comes into my mind is I always go with the mentality that I can help a dog, right? And then just my mind is always very creative, and I'm always like, if I can figure it out, and then I ask the people, just give me some time, and I'm gonna pray it on it, and I just say, and then when I go, and then the instincts, and then the passion, and then the creativity kicks in, literally like a World Cup.
Yeah,
right,
like the World Cup,
like a World Cup. Yep. You can't go in there not praying, not knowing that as your instinct, your passion, your creativity. You can't listen to fear. You can't. So I treat a dog like a World Cup.
I have, which is very interesting, because there are times where I have seen you and you will say, there's an obstacle with this dog. I can't shake it, but I'm going to sleep on him. We're going to, come back early in the morning, Andre. I'm going to need your help. Take care of the other dogs.
Put them in the pool.
Put them in the pool. Do something, because whether you are understanding or you can tell that your energy might be a little too strong for the dog, because you are a very good leader and a very strong leader, and you take that everywhere with you, so that energy carries. And if you need somebody who's a lot more happy-go-lucky, or somebody who's a lot
less tired,
less
tired, because I'm juggling a lot of things, right? Yeah. And so if I feel like I'm super tired, and then I just I ask Andre to take over, or Calvin, or whoever I know that I know that they can be more productive. I don't have to do it myself. I can be part of like the observation, and like also the strategy, right? But if I feel that my energy is not right, I just move out of the way. Out of the way doesn't mean I'm not in this in the
You're
scenario.
Just observing as an audience at that point, but also giving and feeding direction from its distance, and it's a lot.
I'm not a control freak. When it comes to cleaning, yes.
Oh yeah, but that's different.
When it comes to cleaning, yes. But when it comes to it has to be my way, no. I just know that it has to be. That's all. So we have to make it happen. It has, so I like the pitch-in from everybody, right? Because I don't want to do it myself all the time. But it's the same. I just understanding energy. My point in this conversation is, once you understand energy, you understand your dog. You can be creative. You can live in the moment. You can involve like the community. You can involve friends. You can involve different animals. Honestly, living with animals is about happiness, about health. It's about passion, love. It's about creativity. It's us being a kid, but with the strength of whatever you are in your life. I'm 54, Andre's 29.
29.
Yeah. So that strength in our lives, that's the only thing is going to be different. But it should be that same energy that when we were kids. That should never go away, especially with animals. That should never go away. Happiness, healthy, love, and creativity. And that's the only thing is different is the strength. My dad, is here, is 86. Is like same, is happy because he loves animals, and he's right now taking care of the plants, so he's healthy.
Palm trees
so we make sure that he's 86 and he's with the machete right now, cleaning the ranch. He does not believe in like these new tools. He doesn't know how to use them,
like power tools.
But so that forces him to use that old tool with his own body. Right, and that's he's happy. He works for like 6 hours, and then he eats for 4 hours.
I think what's beautiful about this person's question is that in Brazil there's a lot of people, and a lot of Brazilians are super family oriented.
Yeah,
and
that's a Latino thing.
Well, yeah, of course, but they're especially because it's such a big place, right? And they're
Yeah.
constantly within
Yeah, music.
parameters of each other.
Yeah.
So it's
Brazil means to me music, means family,
Means love.
means happy-go-lucky.
Love, yeah.
Means that, and so if you bring that energy around the dog is going to benefit without a doubt. And Brazilians are constantly living in this spiritual carnival.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can relate with that because I play a lot of music here.
Yes.
And that's how I keep my spirit always
On.
happy to be alive. Yeah.
All right. So this is our last question. This is
Okay.
from Gina Piedra 9577. So I have a 1.5-year-old rescued standard golden doodle, spayed female, and her previous owner never socialized her, and she only had access to a backyard. I exercise her daily on walks for 3 hours since I adopted her 2 months ago, and take her to the dog park for socialization after a long walk every day. She walks great on a leash next to me. However, at the dog park, she gets some fear aggression with large dogs or dogs she doesn't know. She also chases small dogs that are scared of her. I try to correct her in the moment, but she runs away from me and tries to get around me to nip the dog she is barking at or chasing and ignores my corrections. She has never actually bit a dog hard, but I'm afraid she will one day do this to the wrong dog and get really hurt. Her prey drive is also very high. Is it my energy that is causing this, or what am I doing wrong? What can I do better, and what is she trying to tell me?
I think that you're probably moving too fast with the socialization. The fact that your dog is prey drive, socialization means your dog is going to be off leash, practicing play, explore. If your dog is intimidated by bigger dogs, that just lets you know she's not ready for that kind or that many or that size, right? So that's just what she's saying. And if she feels to chase a smaller dog, is for her to practice what has been practiced on her. Right. So either or, she gets intimidated by a bigger dog, and she feels that she can practice, what has been practiced on her and a small dog. So obviously this dog is unsure, right?
Yeah,
Obviously this dog is confused, lack of exposure, and the lack of exposure, what it created is the fear instead of practicing calm surrender, and then happy-go-lucky practice, uncertainty. And I'm glad that you're doing 3 hours. I think it's fantastic.
That's a nice.
Yeah, make sure that if your dog is already mastering the 3 hours and is feeling comfortable and it doesn't really do much, add something into the mix, right? So again, I'm gonna mention the backpack, but the backpack is a good step. It's like I always say, the backpack or the swimming if it's water around is really, really good exercise. Also. What else do we use? The backpack, the
I would say
swimming pool.
instead of walking, just
A treadmill. I always tell
speed
people a
up.
treadmill, because those kind of activities, like the backpack, is going to make them go into like, what is this, right? So the more they surrender to that, the more you get rid of the uncertainty. And the pool, they're gonna freak out, because they didn't went in the water like it will be an ocean or a lake, and so you're provoking, for a dog to show you, hey, I'm not sure about the water, but if you stay, you ride the way. I call it ride the way, right? Ride the way, because the dog has learned to not trust. So you have to put them in situations so you can erase the not trust, right? And the treadmill, very classic for us, because we can use the treadmill to rehabilitate a dog that is afraid of sounds. We can use a dog that is aggressive. We can use a dog that shuts down, on the walk. So it's just to find ways before you expose the dog to dogs so you start removing insecurities, right? And so that way the dog, before it goes to the dog park, you already challenge them in the water, you challenge them with the backpack, you challenge them in the treadmill, right? And there's no dog around, so it can only be just you and the dog, and you can see how the dog is figuring it out, and then you stay there until the dog is calm, surrender, and you can see how fear goes out of their body, right? Is you're literally cleansing that. But you have to put the mind into a situation with the mind without getting hurt. Obviously, the mind goes through a challenge, right? You have to remove this trauma or learning knowledge experience that somebody has already helped the dog record. Right? It's like raising a kid. So I'm pretty sure Ilusion, Andres' mom, and myself didn't do always 100% job, but so it's the same thing, right? It's the same. If I can do it again, I would never allow Andre or Calvin to ever feel uncertain, tense, confused, unhappy, chaotic. Never, right? So obviously I repeated something that I learned, right? So it's the same thing with the dog. So when somebody doesn't raise a dog right, it teaches the dog to see life with the wrong energy, with the wrong philosophy, with the wrong action. So the problem with the damage has been done. I don't want to call it like a damage, but it's the learning experience has been done. And so in rehabilitations, you have to put a dog in a situation that he can show you discomfort. And then you help him to get the comfort back, which is calm, surrender, happy-go-lucky. Right? That's pretty much what we have to do. And that's why calm, confident is the energy that helps a dog that is in a fight-flight avoidance, right? That's why we have to understand, that our energy needs to be silence, calmness, confidence, love, and joy, and when to give each energy, right? So the dog can actually begin to heal or begin to connect, or you can also do prevention. Also, you have to learn to choose the friends.
That's true.
You have
That
to
one I
chance to
agree
look.
the most.
You have to learn to choose what dogs can your dog play. And that's why when people bring dogs with similar problem as your dog, my dogs were never going to a dominance or territorial or charging. Right? They will never do it. They just not to not provoke a dog by chasing them or fighting them. Right? Even if a dog fights, my dogs know not to fight. So we don't prolong the bad habit. We actually stop, redirect, or create a brand new one. Yeah. So it's hopefully I think our answers were slowly but surely will begin to make sense for the whole entire world, because better human, better planet is for the whole entire world, especially in moments like this where the energy and the philosophy and the actions of the world are speaking how we're living. We're living in a world that is confusing. Is why do we have wars? It's definitely not a happy place right now, because we don't want nobody to get hurt for no reason at all, for what appears no reason for us. And the actions, I think we can do a much better job as a human, learning to connect with our dogs, and learning to bring safe, peace, love into our environments, and learning to bring trust, respect, love into our relationships, and learning to bring connection, communication, and awesome relationships into the whole planet. So through the dog, we can definitely heal the world. Hopefully all these answers makes a lot of sense for you guys, and we'll keep answering as long as
we can.
As long as we should and we can, and God give us all this opportunity.
So Sherry Lynn A836 says, I have 2 elderly Yorkies, and I have always taken your superpower advice. But I'm new to a dog that is deaf and blind. He was looking at the door, which made me feel sad. But I took a deep breath, visualized him to relax, and he almost immediately went to his bed. I've loved you forever. Thank you very much.
That says it all, right? It's like that blind dog. When I do my ceremonies and arrhythmia, and most of the time I have a blindfold, and people will think, why would you take your sight off? Because you can look inside, right? You can look inside more clear. And when a dog is blind, he can feel you a lot more. A lot more. He's not distracted about it. Obviously, it's beautiful when the nose, eyes, ears, everything is as it should. But that doesn't mean they're stopping from existing. They're stopping from connecting and from communicating. It's just it creates the superpower a lot more loud for them. So it's when dogs are born, they're born blind. So nobody is worrying about it. When a dog gets older, he is blind. And some dogs, they're just born blind. So it's not like only a period of time. They're blind their whole life, and they connect extremely well. The humans who are blind, they have a dog, and I always say, humans they have a dog with this, what is it called? The humans that are blind with a dog.
Service dog, like
Service
a blind,
dog.
like a blind dog, like a guide dog.
Like a guide dog, right? So that human is blind, but he still continues. And everybody, we always know that humans with a disability, they have a superpower. And I think that superpowers, we all have it. You know, we don't have to be deaf, we don't have to be blind, we don't have to be, handicapped. We don't. We just have the gift. We all have it.
Everybody has it.
And you can clearly see it when you apply with an animal or with plants, right? You can clearly see it. You have the power of making things blossom, making things happy, healthy, loving, creating new memories, because that's what we're doing with our animals, creating new memories and sharing the happiness and the health and the love. The same thing I share with Andres is no difference, right? It's no difference. The happiness that Andre gives me, an animal gives me, and right, the health that Andre provides, an animal provides, the love, and so in that aspect, we're the same, and that's why we have to be very respectful, right? We're the same. It's just the human is the species that is responsible, right?
Yes,
It's
of
responsible
course, yes.
because we have such an incredible power with our intelligence,
Yes.
and the capability to love. Well, we hope you guys enjoy the podcast, our conversation, Andre and I. Let's keep talking. What's the word? Let's keep.
Let's continue to.
Let's continue. Yeah, let's continue learning how to reconnect to our natural, simple, profound. I will make my very best to always be super simple, super clear, create simple examples of it, right? Where we all go back and learn, the basics of energy, the basics of dog psychology, the basics of our actions, and if you love it, and then you just, the only thing you have to change is the psychology. That's it, right? Because the energy is the same and the actions are the same. That's going to be the same no matter who you do it with. The only thing is going to be different is the psychology. So a cat is different than a dog, and a horse is different than a dog. So that's the psychology, but the energy is the same and the actions are the same. The actions is the body, mind, heart. The energy is the silence, calm, comfort, love, and joy. That's it. And then just the middle is the philosophy, right? The philosophy of the life that you want to live, or the philosophy of life that you want to live with.
Well, thank you for joining our English version of this podcast, and we will see you guys soon. Leave your questions and comments down below, and we will get to you as soon as possible. Thank you.
Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment, and join me on my mission of better humans, better planet.